Greetings. A few days ago I made a video in which I described the movies that I was most looking forward to seeing for the upcoming fall and holiday movie season, which I subsequently cut in half before posting on YouTube. Now, what you're about to see, if you continue on, is the honorable mentions, the other movies aside from the top 10 that I am interested in. If you'd rather see just the top 10, the ones I'm most looking forward to seeing, or if you would prefer a simple text list that won't take you 20 minutes to watch, you will find both of those in the description below. The choice is yours. We've got The Light Between the Oceans, which is from Derek Cineram, who did Blue Valentine and The Place Beyond the Pines. Place Beyond the Pines is a movie that I think is fantastic. Michael Fassbender, Rachel Weisz, and Alicia Vikander are in this movie. They're already showing TV commercials for it. It'll be coming out really soon. It's about a couple. It's a period drama. It's about a couple who basically live and work at a lighthouse, I think. Or maybe they just live by the sea or something. Anyway, they find a boat with a baby in it that was abandoned, and so they're taking care of it, and then Rachel Weisz shows up. No, I'm sorry, I got this wrong. Michael Fassbender and Alicia Vikander are the couple, and Rachel Weisz is the baby's mom, and she comes looking for her child years later. So yeah, good director, so I'll be interested in that. There's a horror movie called Morgan. It'll also be coming out on the 2nd of September. It's directed by Luke Scott, who I guess this is his first film. Anya Taylor-Joy plays Morgan. Anya Taylor-Joy was the main character, the eldest daughter in the horror movie The Witch, which came out earlier this year. She is a genetic experiment, kind of like the girl from Splice. Kate Mara and Rose Leslie, Michelle Yeoh, Jennifer Jason Leigh, they're people who are working in the lab and just sort of watching her to see how she reacts to things. Paul Giamatti is in this as well. Toby Jones, you may have seen the trailer where Paul Giamatti starts just like yelling at her, just to provoke her, and then she throws him across the room or something like that. Could be cool. Could be really interesting. Sully, of course, is the movie about Captain Chesley Sullenberger, the guy who performed what they call the Miracle on the Hudson. He landed a passenger jet on the Hudson River when there was a sudden engine failure, saved everybody on board. Tom Hanks plays Sully. Clint Eastwood is, of course, the director. Laura Linney, Aaron Eckhart, Sam Huntington, Autumn Reese are in this movie. It comes out on September 9th. On September 16th, we've got Oliver Stone's film about Edward Snowden, which I've been waiting for quite a long time. It's called Snowden. Joseph Gordon-Levitt plays Mr. Snowden, and I thought it was kind of, when I saw the trailer, I realized the way that Joseph Gordon-Levitt was speaking was, he was trying to do basically an impression of Edward Snowden. He's trying to talk like him rather than just talking in his normal voice. Interesting choice. We'll see how that goes. Oliver Stone hasn't made any movies that have really excited me the last few years, but I'm a longtime fan of his, so I'll check it out. Shailene Woodley is Snowden's longtime girlfriend, and the two of them are living now in Russia together, sort of excommunicated from the U.S. Melissa Leo is in the movie. Nicolas Cage, Zachary Quinto, Timothy Olyphant, Tom Wilkinson, Rhys Ifans, Jolie Richardson. Oliver Stone always puts together a really good ensemble of actors. September 23rd, we got a movie that will probably be a huge hit, Magnificent Seven, a remake of the Western. Antoine Fuqua, who did Training Day and The Equalizer, he's getting the gang back together, and by that I mean Denzel Washington and Ethan Hawke, who are both in Training Day. They're hired by a woman who's played by Haley Bennett to avenge her husband's murder. Her husband was killed by Peter Sarsgaard. Is a very, very nasty fellow. I love it when Peter Sarsgaard plays bad guys. He can be very slimy. Chris Pratt is in this movie as well. Vincent D'Onofrio, Jason Momoa, Matt Bomer, and Byung-Hun Lee. I apologize if I'm pronouncing that badly, but he plays Snake Eye's brother in the G.I. Joe movies. That's the 23rd. On the 30th of September, Tim Burton's new film, Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. Tim Burton has made few movies that I've really liked. And I've gone to see most of them in the theater, but the one that I didn't see in the theater, the one that I actually skipped, was actually one of his best ones, and that's Big Eyes, with Amy Adams and Christoph Waltz, about the painters. So Tim Burton, yeah, he's hit and miss really for me, but this is a movie that's kind of like, what does it remind me of? I guess it's sort of like X-Men. Eva Green sort of plays Professor X, who's got all these kids with special abilities and superpowers that she's caring for in this home out in the middle of nowhere. Asa Butterfield from Hugo is the kid who's just the new guy in the house, learning all about this stuff and about the people there. Samuel Jackson is the villain. Ella Purnell, Judi Dench, Allison Janney, Kim Dickens, Rupert Everett, Terrence Stamp, Chris O'Dowd are all in this movie. Good cast, good cast. So here's hoping it'll be one of the better Burtons. Also on the 30th, the other Peter Berg movie is, of course, about Deepwater Horizon, the sea oil rig that exploded and released, oil all over the water and really messed things up. Anyway, this is mostly about the characters who work on the rig trying to escape when everything goes badly. Could have paper-thin characters, I don't know. But really great trailer, great teaser trailer involving, this sort of revolves around Mark Wahlberg's daughter and practicing her science project in their kitchen. It's sort of like going back and forth between the two big scenes, and it's really, really good teaser. Yeah, so it's Mark Wahlberg and Kurt Russell. Kate Hudson plays Mark Wahlberg's wife. John Malkovich and Gina Rodriguez are also in it. We'll see. Hopefully it'll be really good. There's a drama called Denial that is about a historian named Deborah Libsat, and how she's basically engaging in sort of a public fight with a Holocaust denier whose name is David Irving. I'm not sure what year this takes place, but it's definitely not the present. It's a period piece. Rachel Weisz plays Libsat, and Timothy Spall plays David Irving. Timothy Spall, of course, plays one of Lord Voldemort's minions in the Harry Potter movies. Tom Wilkinson is in the movie as well. And it's directed by Mick Jackson, who did a couple of movies that I'm really fond of. The Steve Martin comedy L.A. Story, and Temple Grandin with Claire Danes as the autistic woman who... it's an HBO movie. It's really, really good. She was terrific in it, so I'm glad to see he's still making movies. Edge of 17 is a comedy by James L. Brooks, who did a whole bunch of interesting films like As Good as It Gets and Broadcast News and what have you. The last thing that I saw of him was How Do You Know, which wasn't as good as those other two. Anyway, the main character is Haley Steinfeld from True Grit, and she is just sort of dealing with the embarrassment of being, a teenager in high school and what have you. Really funny trailer, anyway. Woody Harrelson is one of her teachers. Haley Lou Richardson, who I believe is in Episode 8, is in the movie, Star Wars Episode 8, that one. Yeah, that Episode 8. Kira Sedgwick is in it as well. That comes out on September 30th. Here's a literary adaptation of a book that looks very, very promising. The Girl on the Train, apparently, is, it sounds very, very intriguing. The director is Tate Taylor. He did The Help, which I didn't love, but, not to say he is a bad director. It's just, the movie itself. Anyway, Emily Blunt's the main character. She's like an alcoholic whose husband has left her for another woman who's played by Haley Bennett, and then this woman turns up dead, and suspicion falls on her. Rebecca Ferguson from Mission Impossible Rogue Nation is in it. Luke Evans, Laura Prepon, Allison Janney, Lisa Kudrow, Edgar Ramirez, Justin Theroux. That comes out on October 7th. And finally, wrapping this up at long last, the sequel to Jack Reacher, which is not done by Christopher McQuarrie, who did Mission Impossible 5 and is going to do 6, but actually Edward Zwick is directing this movie, who directed The Last Samurai, another Tom Cruise movie. So he's begun to, repeat with his directors more. He didn't used to do that. Anyway, so Cruise and Colby Smulders are the main characters in their trying to unravel conspiracy and fight off bad guys, one of whom is played by Robert Knepper, who, of course, is Prison Break? Is that what he was in? I know he was in Transporter 3, and I think he was the bad guy in Prison Break as well. He was also in one of the last seasons of Heroes. That comes out on October 21st. The latest film from Ang Lee is Billy Lynn's Long Halftime Walk, about a soldier who's done a tour in the Middle East, and basically we see him sort of contemplating his life and his military experiences while he's waiting to appear at a halftime show at a football game. The main character is an actor I've never heard of. He's kind of a newcomer, a new discovery. Some of the other people in the movie include Steve Martin, Kristen Stewart, Vin Diesel, Chris Tucker, Tim Blake Nelson. Is coming out November 11th. And what's unique about this movie is that it's shot at 120 frames per second, which means that if you want the 120 frames experience, you got to go figure out which theaters are actually showing it that way and which theaters are showing it the regular way. I mean, it's all digital projection now anyway. I'm not sure what kind of difference it makes, but maybe it does make a difference. I don't know. We'll see. It's been ages since I've seen a movie by Paul Verhoeven, the director of RoboCop and Total Recall and Starship Troopers, Basic Instinct. The last film I saw of his was Black Book, which I think came out about 10 years ago. He's finally got a new movie coming out called Elle. Stars Isabelle Huppert, who I just saw a few months ago in couple of months ago in Heaven's Gate. Never seen it before. It's a revenge story. Beyond that, I don't know a lot about it. Comes out November 11th. I love Paul Verhoeven. Not all of his movies, but his style. He's a very, very energetic director in many different ways. So yeah, that'll be exciting. Pixar's new film Moana looks really great. I love the animation on the main character's hair. It looks really cool. Dwayne Johnson is some sort of demigod or something like that, like Hercules. Anyway, this is a musical which is co-directed by Ron Clements and John Musker, who did Aladdin, which I love. Aladdin's such a great movie, so I'm very excited for that. The songs are co-written by Lin-Manuel Miranda, who of course is the man behind the musical Hamilton, which I haven't seen because I don't live in New York and they're expensive. That's coming out November 23rd. Robert Zemeckis' new film is called Allied. It's also coming out on the 23rd. It's set in 1942. Brad Pitt and Marion Cotillard are the main characters. They are spies from Canada and France, respectively. They're trying to stop bad German guys and other bad people in the sort of story of intrigue, I guess. Lizzie Kaplan, Jared Harris, and Matthew Good are in the movie as well. Love Robert Zemeckis, so I'm eager to see that. Now, here's a movie that normally wouldn't be on a list like this, but I saw the trailer and it just looks like a riot. Office Christmas Party. It comes out on the 9th of December. Basically, you've got Josh Gordon and Will Speck, who co-directed Blaze of Glory and The Switch with Jason Bateman and Jennifer Aniston. And I haven't really seen either of those movies, but Bateman and Aniston are both in this movie. Jennifer Aniston, I think, is the CEO of this company that's looking to score a new client. They're sort of on... things are not going well at the company, so they're trying to get Courtney B. Vance, who's a potential client, in the fold, and they're going to, like, wine and dine him, but the Office Christmas Party gets totally out of control, apparently. Kate McKinnon from SNL is in this, T.J. Miller from Deadpool, Rob Corddry, Vanessa Bayer, Randall Park, who played Kim Jong-un in The Interview, Jillian Bell, Olivia Munn, Jamie Chung, big cast, and it just looks like a wild time. Yeah, I mean, there are lots of comedies that come out that I laugh at the clips and go, I don't even bother with it. Like, this last summer I saw Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates, and I thought that would be a roaring good time, and it was just kind of okay. Hopefully this one will be funny. Really, really funny. That's all I need, really, as long as it's hilarious and outrageous. So on... another movie on December 9th is called Miss Sloane, from John Madden, who directed Shakespeare in Love, Best Picture winner. He also did a very little-seen thriller called Kill Shot, which I really, really like. Jessica Chastain is the main character. She is a gun control political lobbyist. She's trying to pass legislation regarding that, and it's all about that sort of struggle. Aside from her, Mark Strong and Gugu Mbatha-Raw are in it. Gugu Mbatha-Raw is an actress who appeared in a movie called Belle, a period drama, which was really good. So on the 16th of December, we've got a movie called Collateral Beauty, which sounds a lot like 7 Pounds, and not just because it stars Will Smith, it's because hardly anything is known about what's happening in this movie other than the fact that something bad happened, and now Will Smith has got to deal with the aftermath of that, which is pretty much the plot of any movie. It's all been kept very, very vague. Dave Frankel is the director. He did Devil Wears Prada and Hope Springs with Tommy Lee Jones and Meryl Streep. I think that I've seen Devil Wears Prada, but I didn't think that much of it, and I haven't seen Hope Springs. Anyway, aside from Mr. Smith, we've got Kate Winslet, Keira Knightley, possibly Naomi Harris, although I'm not sure about that. Originally I had Rachel McAdams written down for this movie, but apparently she didn't do it and someone else did it instead. Helen Mirren and Edward Norton are also in it. Could be, it's a curiosity. We'll see about that. On December 16th, we've got A Kind of Murder, which is directed by Andy Goddard. I think I'm doing these in the wrong order. Yeah, I started with November. Sorry about that. Anyway, A Kind of Murder is a thriller, which is based on a novel called The Blunderer by Patricia Highsmith, who wrote the Tom Ripley novels. Patrick Wilson, Jessica Biel, Haley Bennett, Eddie Marsan, and Vincent Kartheiser are in this. And if I had to pick one movie that will get bumped to next year, it will probably be this one, just because, you know, it's not high profile like a lot of the other stuff. But with that cast and, you know, the fact that it's Patricia Highsmith, I go, could be interesting. We'll see. There was another Patricia Highsmith movie with Viggo Mortensen and Kirsten Dunst that came out a couple years ago that turned out to be pretty decent. But it was another one of those movies where I just, like, you know, came and went in the theater and no one really paid any attention. Patriots Day. Patriots Day is about the Boston Marathon bombing. It's directed by Peter Berg. It's actually one of two movies that he's got coming out over the next couple of months. Mark Wahlberg is in this. He also starred in another Peter Berg movie, Lone Survivor. Right, Lone Survivor. Rachel Brosnahan from House of Cards is in it. Michelle Monaghan, who is someone I really like. Kevin Bacon, J.K. Simmons again, John Goodman, Michael Beach, and Alex Wolff from Paper Towns and The Fault in Our Stars. He plays one of the two brothers that performed the bombing. Presumably he's the one that actually lived a little bit longer than the other one. So that comes out on December 21st. There's an animated movie called Sing, which is all about animals participating in a singing competition in an attempt to save a theater. Sounds like a Muppet movie, but it's CGI. Garth Jennings is the director. He directed The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy movie with Martin Freeman from about 10 years ago. Matthew McConaughey is the porcupine, the main character. He's the one hosting the competition. John C. Reilly is his assistant. Reese Witherspoon is the pig. Scarlett Johansson, Nick Offerman, Seth MacFarlane, a whole bunch of people are doing the voices of these characters. You know, I like, you know, movies where people do a lot of singing, so that could be good. And there's one particular person in that movie that makes it an automatic must-see for me, and if you have watched my videos, you probably know who that is. That comes out on December 21st, and also on December 21st, we've got 20th Century Woman, which is from the director of a movie with Ewan McGregor and, oh my goodness. Oh, I'm blanking on his name. His name is Mike Mills. The movie's called Beginners. Ewan McGregor, Melanie Laurent, and who is the dude who played Brad Pitt's father in 12 Monkeys? What is his name? Christopher Plummer. Right, Christopher Plummer. If I'm not mistaken, he won Best Supporting Actor for Beginners. Sorry for missing that. This movie takes place in 1979. Annette Bening is a mother to a 15-year-old kid, and she introduces him to characters played by Greta Gerwig and Elle Fanning because she wants him to learn more about what it's like to be a woman, or about what it's like to have to deal with issues, you know, day-to-day issues as a woman or something like that. I'm a little vague on the plot, but, you know, with these people involved, I'm going to be interested in seeing it, even if I don't know that much about the story. What? I'm sure this video is way, way, way too long. If you've watched this far, thank you very much. Appreciate it. That's what I'm looking forward to seeing, and there's a whole bunch of them, and some of them I may end up skipping, but I'll probably see a whole bunch of them, and I have monthly updates on every new movie that I see each month, if you are keeping up with my channel, and hopefully that's actually something that a person can tolerate. We'll see. So yeah, aside from Passengers, there's a couple. It's like Passengers and Manchester by the Sea. Those are the two that I'm really excited for. And Doctor Strange, you know, and maybe The Accountant as well. Those are probably the ones I'm looking forward to most. Anyway.